So, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? So, I'm not fully watching the inauguration of Donald Trump getting, sworn in as president. I mean, it's a good celebration. It's good, like a good celebration, a good thing to, to watch occasionally and stuff. But I mean, that it goes on for hours and hours and hours on end, and I can't sit there watching the whole thing. I mean, I was just talking to my friend Greg, and Greg was like, I can't, I can't watch the whole thing either. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So, Greg's out and about right now with a friend, and doing some stuff at a friend's house, but um he was watching the inauguration of Donald Trump getting into office, which I'm sure is on replay, and I'm sure is on many different news coverage channels and things, and it's going on for a few hours at this point. But it's a victory. It's a victory for me because I saw somewhere, and I'm hoping it's true, that Trump is getting rid of anything that's a critical race theory or DEI from our curriculum and our teachings and our schools and our governments and stuff like that. He's getting rid of all the DEI stuff, which really was one of my biggest concerns and my biggest issues, is trying to get rid of the DEI, because it was doing a lot more harm to society and life than good. Of course, but then I read somewhere too, because of the Connecticut Post or whatever, that the fucking Connecticut, what do you call them? Politicians want to, most of them want to, stand by and actually fight against Trump and his policies that he would be placing onto America and onto Connecticut and stuff like that. So, I think that's kind of really dumb and really stupid, to really do, because they could all go to federal prison. I mean, I'm sure they could all go to federal prison. I think some of them deserve to go to federal prison, but I'm excited. I'm excited to get rid of the DEI. That was one of my biggest problems, is the DEI and all this woke culture shit. And um, do I have to get used to the two gender thing? Yeah, but I mean, I was only a one gender to begin with. I was a male that liked other males, but I was bi. I was considered bi because I also wanted to see men and women, but I was always considered, to be one gender, one human being, a one gender. I wasn't really cross dressing. I wasn't really, doing some of the extremes like the transgenderism and all this, all these guys wearing makeup and shit, and stuff like that people do. I was just considered myself to be a guy that liked other guys, and had moments where I've had relationships and things with other guys, but um at this point, I think I'm going to give it up. I think I'm going to give up that part of my life, the whole thing about seeing another guy or another male. And I'm going to be looking forward to seeing maybe another female. Although I've had my rocky issues with trying to see different females and etc. And it hasn't always gone as up to par or always well on my behalf, with expectations and things that have happened and stuff. So just gotta be careful. Just gotta, take it slow and take it one step at a time. But, I'm looking forward to Trump taking office. I really am. I mean, it may mean that I might have to get up off my ass and work a little bit, but that was never really the problem. The problem was my toxic employer, and then the people around me in the arts wanting to take that toxic employer and also put a big emphasis on her, like she was the most important thing. If I let her down, or if I let that situation down with her, I was going to face these dire consequences and things. And some of it also had to do with the pressure of DEI and critical race theory and stuff like that, because she was the first black business in Torrington. So, but yet she was a fucking, she was a fucking dog, basically shaking her ass in music videos and acting all provocatively, and and being a fucking little, hood rat, basically. So, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy we got Trump in office. I'm happy that there's going to be some changes. I'm happy he's signing away on some papers. Um, Greg had to correct me a little bit, because he was wondering, like, why was I so such in a mood? Because earlier I was in such a mood, like I was happy, but I was also kind of like ungrounded, because I had like mixture of happy, excited, and like I was also kind of just ungrounded, because I had like a little bit of a vengeance in there. Like I wanted to wanted some of my vengeance was bubbling up, like, because vengeance is sweet. You don't always have to seek vengeance to have vengeance and have, revenge on people who've done you wrong and stuff like that. But, um, you know, um, vengeance is sweet, and the thing is too, is that people have done me wrong. A lot of people in the woke culture and for the DEI and for Black Lives Matter and stuff, they've all done me wrong. They've all taken away parts of my career and parts of the things that were working for my life and my career of what I was doing as an artist and etc. Yet some of these people that are so feminist and so woke or so for the movement and the cause of the people are writing, songs like rock and roll nigger and, stuff like that, basically, and lyrics and stuff that I'm trying to get documented and have documents of just so, I have proof that this is actually somebody that says they're so feminist or somebody that says they're so for the movement, but yet it's in the fucking book, It's in a fucking book that you actually wrote rock and roll nigger in a fucking book. And I have no problem saying that either, just the way it actually is. Um, but yeah, just I'm at the point now where it's just like, and she got censored for it. She got actual censored for actual the song. The song was not played on airways and stuff, and some of that had to do with the DEI and the censoring of culture and stuff. That they wouldn't play her songs on Spotify and stuff that had the N word in it and stuff like that. Another person they're gonna say, okay. Okay, so here I'm back because some ignorant fuck is kind of messaging me on my phone, and my phone went straight to my fucking messenger. So some ignorant fuck is trying to message me right now when I'm on the middle of a Facebook Live, which I'm gonna defriend them or block them from my Facebook, because if I can't do a Facebook Live of fucking peace and shit, then they need to get the fuck off my page, because they just kind of completely blocked, not blocked my Facebook Live, but actually paused my Facebook Live in the middle of Facebook Live. But point being is that there are people out there writing these songs that are very controversial, and they're saying they're for the people and they're so democratic and they're so this and that, but yet supposedly these songs are with the N word and stuff. So who actually technically is the racist? But then again, for a while there, I was also following some of them and some of their influence and stuff too. So, and because I followed their influence and stuff, I kind of wrote about things about the censorship of the song and saying, why is the song being censored? Obviously it's what people might consider a racist song or a racist situation, but these are the so-called feminists and the so-called people that artists and stuff for like the left and etc. that have take place in the left and stuff that have taken over society. um so I don't know. I mean, Ann Waldman, who was a very influential person with the Beats, she was a feminist, or she is a feminist, because she's one of the only few Beat people that are still alive. So she's a feminist. I know Patti Smith. I don't know if Patti Smith's a feminist or not, but I kind of kept all my Patti Smith books. I kept my Allen Ginsberg books. I kept a lot of my Beat poetry books, but they were against like censorship, and they were supposed to be against censorship and censorship of the media and censorship of the art and stuff, but yet they were so cowardly in the last several years because of DEI and their culture and their and their reputation to get themselves censored. Obviously, yeah, they wrote a racist song, but they were an artist and they should have stand behind their art, but they didn't stand behind their art. And I don't know. I mean, I think some of my heroes were fucking cowards and shit like that, or the people that I used to consider my fucking heroes on the left fucking cowards. But that's just how I feel. Um, at this point, I'm just gonna say what I gotta say, and be what I gotta be. But I'm looking forward to things. I'm looking forward to changes and things. Although I am kind of struggling with a lot of things right now, and it's gonna be several months. It's going to be a few months at least for me to actually struggle with what I'm struggling with and different struggles and things I'm faced with. It's going to at least be a few months that I'm going to have to work on some things that I need to get straightened out and stuff that are really affecting my life at this point. Um, so. But at this point, I'm just trying to chill. I'm just trying to breathe. I'm just trying to do what I need to do. I'm happy Trump's in office, but that's what I was going to say before. There was a vengeance, there's a little bit of a vengeance bubbling up in my personality this morning, because it's like I'm finally going to be able to get back at the people who've done me wrong. I'm finally going to be able to get rid of the DEI and the woke culture and all this shit that people were trying to cram down my face and make me feel like I was the wrong person, or I was the racist person for cramming it down my face, because I didn't simply want to believe in their racism, or what they were teaching in their racism, that I was necessarily the bad person. Because DEI is like a woke racism. It's racism. Wokeness is racism. DEI is racism. Critical race theory leads to racism. It's all borderline on racism. It's racism against white people, basically. People say there's not racism against white people, but I disagree. There's actually racism against everybody. Everybody can have racism against everybody, depending on their skin color and situation. They can always have a racist situation pop up, and there always can be an issue. So I don't believe that black people can't be racist to white people, and I don't believe white people can't be racist to black people. It actually goes both ways. But I believe that there's a culture clash thing going on with like the culture and the cultural wars over race and things, that certain things are happening, certain things are being overlooked, or certain things are happening, and things where things are just things need to be addressed. Things needed to be addressed for a while, and it wasn't going to be addressed with the left or the wokeism or any of the DEI and stuff like that. So we needed Trump back in office, for one. And people say if he's swearing what he's going to say he's going to do, then he's going to basically put an end to different, these different things that have obviously kind of caused America very much harm, and America very much issues and things like that when it came to society and stuff, that we'll be able to fix things and stuff. But I don't really have much to say at this point, other than yay Trump. um I'm still for black women. I've always been for black women, and whether the black women believe that because of their wokeism and their race, their leftist racist ideologies, basically being anti-white and saying, because I'm white, I can't be loved, or because I'm white, and I don't want to believe in black love, or I don't want to believe in the black love push of the DEI and stuff, that I'm supposedly racist, so they can't necessarily love me because they think I'm racist, when, they got it in their heads basically over ideologies of what they've been taught, that not about me as a person. They were not taught anything ever about me as a person, but they were taught what they think of me as a person, and their ideologies that make them feel like, oh, I could be racist, or I could be somebody who is not worthy of love because of my skin color, basically, which is really fucking ridiculous. Really fucking ridiculous. I appreciate black women. I love black women. I do, I've actually had relationships with black men, being bisexual. I've had relationships with black men, and I've actually slept with black men, so I've had relationships with black men too, but I'm kind of giving up the men part, and I'm kind of going more towards the women. Although I'm not going to say maybe not just necessarily black women. I would like to date some more people within my own background. I would like to kind of keep it open to not being, even though I have a preference for black women, I rather not look down and just say, because of that preference, I won't date somebody who's white or Indian or Asian, or I still want to be open to like the other cultures and other experiences besides black women, because that's where it gets a little unhealthy. It's like, oh, you just put all your love and your support onto black women, and kind of did some of that with my with the ideologies of wokeism and DEI. I kind of put all this love and support on black women, and kind of put it into supporting the woke culture and the DEI at one point. That I bought all the books, and I bought all these things that were supporting DEI and the movement that I thought was supporting Black lives, and it just didn't work. It just doesn't work out. It doesn't work out for me. It doesn't work out for society. It's just not a good thing, Some of those women are very anti-white, They might not want to admit it to themselves, but they might not want to see the antics of their ways. But some of them are very anti-white, and they don't really look that positively at a white person. So, and racism can go around being multiple different things, multiple different sayings, genders, things, all kinds of things that could really fuck up society. But I'm happy that Trump's in office. I mean, if I had to get another job again, I don't know. I don't know if another local employer would actually hire me after all this drama and all this he say she say shit going on because of the local community and stuff, especially the local arts and stuff, because a lot of people in the arts were actually liberal and pushing a lot of this DEI stuff. Because I spent a lot of my free time over the last 7-8 years. There was a time I spent a lot of it in the arts and the downtown community and stuff like that, making friends at galleries and stuff, and a lot of them were pushing like the DEI woke culture shit and stuff like that to support the arts and stuff, and really it was never a really healthy thing. The arts never really became a very healthy thing for me and stuff in some cases here in town, because some of the people I was getting involved with were pushing this DEI thing, and their racism on me because they want to accuse me of racism because I'm a white person. Just naturally because I'm a white person, they want to accuse me of being racist. So they push this agenda and this feeling onto me that's never really been such a burden, and it's just been such a freaking it has been such a burden. It's been such a burden that I'm glad. I'm glad that we got Trump in office. It's going to be another 4 years. It's going to be 4 years of Trump. So unless we get Trump back in office again, and people decide, oh, we're going to get Trump back in office because we need Trump back in office again. So it's going to be 4 years of Trump. So people got to get used to it. He's our president. People got to get used to it. I mean, I used to be personally on the leftist liberal side saying, oh, no Trump this and no Trump that, but really at the end of the day, I do support Donald Trump, and I do think Donald Trump is going to do some things for this country that's going to help fix the broken system of what's going on, and etc. People might not like all the changes, and might not like certain things being taken away or changed or whatever's going to happen. I mean, I know I might not, but I'm gonna have to lean on God and lean on His plan, and figure out what God wants me to do and where God wants me to go from here on out. One thing's for sure. I knew the voice. I knew God for me personally was not leading me to the fact that I should be supporting the black community and any ideologies or any wokeism or any of this DEI racist crap that really has kind of affected my life and has affected me as an artist, and certain opportunities and things I could have had that could have been better than some of the opportunities I was given that were really either toxic or very short-changing. So, I'm very happy. I'm very happy that Trump's in office. I don't know where the fuck Joe Canino is. Not to really curse him out, but because I'm sure he's probably doing something good. But I mean, I really would like to see more Joe Canino come to more around his district, to more places, especially to where I live. A building to where I live where there's a lot of disabled and elderly people. So Joe Canino could come to the building and meet some of the people who voted for him, because he did not just become the district leader for this district by other people that are not necessarily not disabled to vote for him. I mean, there's a lot of disabled people that did vote for Joe Canino, and that's because a lot of people were tired of Michelle Cook, and I know that for a fact because a couple people said to me and said to a couple people I know that we're tired of Michelle Cook. We're not voting for Joe. We're not voting for Michelle Cook. We're gonna vote for Joe Canino. We're going to vote for somebody who's going to change the whole situation, of Torrington for us, because obviously we're all in need of change. And what's been the last 4 years or 8 years of stuff where we had this person in office and nothing's getting done or nothing's changing, or we have issues with change and things that so obviously people wanted to vote Joe Canino in, so we got Joe Canino. He's like our first Republican person for our district in a very long time. I mean, I don't mean to curse him out, but I mean, because I know I'm sure he's busy doing a lot of stuff for the Republicans and up in Hartford, and talking to the people in the Senate and stuff. But I would like to meet him. I would like to meet him and to shake his hand and say thank you, sir. I hope we can really work. I hope we you can work for Torrington to really change some things. But some people don't care about my vote, or people don't care about my opinion because they feel like I'm not a part of Torrington, or I don't have really have a say in Torrington. Although I'm not really from Torrington originally. I've been here over 15 years. So Torrington's actually my home. I talk to people all the time. People say, "Oh, you're not originally from Torrington." No, I wasn't originally from Torrington, but I've been here over 15, 20 years now. So Torrington next technically is nestled into my home as of this point on. So I mean, I got to make a living here in Torrington. I got to make some type of life. If I can't do that, then I got to be figuring out what I got to do to put myself elsewhere, or etc. But at this point, I'm just trying to live and try to breathe, and I'm this in a way, a lot of my ex peers are going to be pissed off too, because a lot of my peers had like LGBT groups going on at the mental health agency, and they were talking about being transgender and liking all these things that were kind of sketchy for grown guys to be liking and stuff like that, but. I mean, if it obviously changes the outcome about that and for them and stuff, and they're all whiny and stuff and upset, then I'm sorry. I can't say anything or do anything but say, well, that's karma for you. So I mean, and in the end, it all works out, and God has a way of making people regret things, especially how they treat people in the end. I mean, I had the most sincerest and honest intentions when it came to supporting the black community and being part of the DEI and woke culture and stuff. I had the most sincerest, honest intentions to really try to get, involved with certain people and trying to be there for certain people, but some of those intentions and some of what those people had in mind for me were not very sincere. They could care less about me and wanted to use me as a marker and as a tool of their racism and stuff to try to see if they can make an example out of me as with the racism and stuff to make me look bad. So they can push their agendas and stuff. So I was basically a marker to be used to be pushed in a very negative way so they can push their agendas for DEI and black culture and to basically have a lot of the friends and have a lot of the artists and supporters that they have now that were obviously people that I actually once wanted to care for, wanted to back in my circle. um do I care about those people now because of DEI and anti-woke culture or woke culture and stuff like that? No, I don't. I don't really care about the same people I once cared for, and there's a reason for that, because obviously bridges were burnt, personal connections and things have happened, and there were a lot of issues and things that obviously pulled us apart, and there were a lot of things that really kind of disrupted the way and the flow of life. So there were a lot of issues with different things that there were a lot of issues and things that obviously needed to be addressed, and I don't think they will ever be addressed to those people's faces, but they were addressed, in therapy. Say, because I'm in therapy, so I obviously have a counselor I talk to, and I've talked to my therapist more than once. I've had a therapist for like over 15 years up until the point he retired, and I began talking to him about this stuff probably about like 6 years ago. I ended up talking to him about a lot of this stuff about how I don't like DEI and how I don't like the woke culture and how I don't like certain things being pushed where it pushes this agenda or this pushes this feeling on me like I gotta be racist just because of the color of my skin, or just because black people feel they're owed something, that I gotta be the scapegoat for or the martyr for their cause. So but anyways, at this point, I'm happy Trump got in. I'm happy Trump got in. I do appreciate black women, but I mean I don't have to necessarily end up with a black woman. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'll end up with any woman, because my reputation in Torrington hasn't actually been that great, because people like to instigate and throw my opinion and throw my their opinion in there of my image and my life and stuff. When some of them get to know me, and they get to they get to twist the truths about me and stuff, and they get to twist things, and people like drama. A lot of people like drama. People like the gossip and the drama. So Torrington, unfortunately, still has a lot of drama and a lot of gossip in it. So some of the Torrington is a gossip and drama town. There's good things to Torrington. At least I thought there were, like the arts and stuff. But some of Torrington is a gossip and drama town, and obviously people are doing drugs and people, that's everywhere. It's everywhere you go. Especially if you live in like a small city, small town where everybody knows everybody and stuff like that. So, um, but Torrington's had such a bad label for me that in some cases I don't even know half the people that obviously hate me or could care less about me because they don't really know who I am, and I don't think they really care to know. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess that settles that at that point. I get no chances to make a life or no chances to make a connection or a friend or any type of thing where I can actually live here and be decent. Yet alone find a job. I've had on and off jobs, like stipend jobs and like on and off part-time jobs and stuff. I've had on and off jobs at one point, and um, the first job I had in a while was actually working for Daquana's Soul Food and Sweets, which actually, she goes by Sacrifice, who was actually, this provocative woman now who does these music videos provocatively and stuff and raps and pretty much is like ghetto trash basically from New York, basically, because she was originally from New York and she kind of started a business here in Torrington, and she was going from New York to Torrington and etc. to sell food and stuff and or to do whatever she was doing. I'm sure she's selling more than just food, maybe her ass here and there, maybe some other things, on top of that. So but that was the first job I had in a while, was Taquana Soul Food and Sweets, and I got hired. At first I wanted to be really nice to her, and I wanted her to really accept me, and I wanted to really really make a good impression on her. But I think and in the end, I think between personal issues between us and then personal issues for myself and things like that, that things got too real and too issued for me that I couldn't like keep my I couldn't keep my job. I couldn't keep my head on straight. I couldn't keep my job, and I had to walk off the job because this woman kind of got me into like some I can't even go back to fix. I can't even go back into those feelings. I'm trying really hard not to because it made me so like flustered and so like unbalanced just to think of all the stuff that was going on and all the stuff that she was doing and all the stuff that I had to experience even trying to help her out and risk my time and my effort to help her out in her store and etc. And I get blamed because it obviously goes downhill, or she has to close it months after I quit. After months after I quit, she says, "Oh, I have to close my store because I needed his help, and I couldn't keep my store open months after he quit, and he knew that I needed help, and the bottom line is Taquana's Soul Food and Sweets had a lot of turnover. She had a lot of turnover. She had like 3 or 4 people work for her before me. And she even told me, and some other people even told me, that she had a lot of turnover and stuff like that. And people didn't like her, and there was a lot of issues with people working for her and stuff. So she couldn't find actually anybody to really work for her properly and stuff like that in town. Of course, it was in the middle of the pandemic. And during the middle of the pandemic, she tried to open up a business. And obviously, it was very hectic during the pandemic. And it was hectic for me, too. So, but I try to help her out. I try to be nice. I try to be honest with her, Unfortunately, the honesty and stuff got taken advantage of, and she took advantage of stuff because she was obviously the boss of her business, and she wanted things her way, and she wanted to be, the cream of the crop and make a really good impression on Torrington and everybody else that, she feels like I threw her under the bus because I left, but she really threw me under the bus, and and her situation kind of helped, destroy things for me and help catalyst a lot of what had happened with the DEI stuff and all these other social issues with other people kind of drag me downhill. So, she was ghetto. She is ghetto. She's not, I'll say was because she's still alive. She's ghetto. She's pretty much ratchetly ghetto, And some people like the ratchetly ghetto stuff. They say sex and ratchet ghetto stuff sells, And maybe they do for, like Nicki Minaj and people like that, which she thinks she's going to be like another Nicki Minaj and stuff. And maybe she will be. I don't know. But, point being is that DEI and everything is not working for society. I mean, I was looking at things with a vengeance. I mean, it was more like a passionate vengeance because I already knew that I already kind of felt like I already kind of knew that in a way I've already won, and I knew Trump was already going to sign off on some things to change some things about DEI and woke culture and critical race theory and things. He was already going to sign off on different things about the situation for him and stuff that was going to change. Was going to change the was going to change things back, hopefully, to a more decent and more sane, way of life. I mean, even though I might have considered myself to be bi and stuff, I didn't believe in the pronouns either. It's like he, they, them, they, this like it could be an it. But my mom and I joked because it's like my mom laughed, like she said, "Oh, you can be an it now. You can be an it." You can be an it. You don't have to be a person. You can be an it, You can identify as an it. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, you can, apparently, huh? You can identify as an it or whatever else, and identify as a dog. I mean, there's relationships out there where people are trying to identify as dogs. They want to romance being like dogs and shit, So, I don't know. I mean, the world is a fucked up and crazy place, and I know that because I've obviously had my issues and things, and dealt with some things and stuff too, where I've obviously got roped into stuff, and had some issues and things that obviously changed my life and changed the course of my life and changed the direction of what I was on and what I was doing at one point. So, and there really is no going back, and there really is no turning back at this point. So, I mean, some people want me to go back to places, or think I should after a certain amount of time, but it's just not going to happen because it was not healthy then, and I don't think it's going to be healthy again. It's kind of like the arts. It's kind of like the arts when like the arts thing, like when I originally lost my mental health or had issues with my mental health. There were situations in the arts that were not healthy, and situations in the arts that really kind of caused me drama or caused me a lot of confliction issues and stuff, and I had mentally broke because of that. But yet here it was like, eight to something years later, and I had gone back into the arts and saw a lot of these people and etc. and stuff like that, and really, it's like, you're not really supposed to let people disappoint you a second time, but some of the people I got involved with, some of the people that were around me and stuff, were people that, kind of disappointed me a second time. Maybe not as deep as the first time, but some of them, disappointed me a second time, or some of them might have not known what was going on or about my mental health or etc., and some of them might not even cared, because I know we've had drama and stuff in the past, and we've had issues and things, so but whatever. It's whatever at this point. Trump's in, and we're going forward. It's 2025. We're going forward, but this is several years overdue to finally say, let's get rid of the fucking DEI shit and critical race theory and all that stuff, and kind of be able to go forward without it, and trying to have it affect our lives and make people make such a critical and a lot of issues about it and etc. So, anyways. Peace, because I gotta get offline. I gotta go do some things. I might gotta call my mother. I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm kind of sitting here by myself today, just watching the inauguration on and off, and kind of just chilling. I mean, I really should be putting on movies and stuff, but I haven't really been in a place where I wanted to watch a movie. I've been kind of glued to my computer, watching YouTube videos on my computer and stuff, where I haven't really gotten a chance to put myself in to watch one of my new movies, or get a chance to do anything like make art or anything like that, to branch out and do stuff, because I'm kind of going through different things on my own and personally that I'm kind of not in a place where I feel like I can be open to do such things. But I realize, I mean, maybe these are restrictions I'm placing on myself, but I don't know. But anyways, Trump's in. He's the president, whether people like it or not. Black people can hate me all they want to. I mean, the right black people that want to come into my life and support me and, support my situation and support the situation and support life and etc. They can definitely do so. So, but until then, I'm going to just chill. I'm going to just chill and go forward on my own, even if it means I'm alone, So, I was trying to tell my friend Greg too about the pretty Republican women. I was trying to tell my friend Greg too. I'm like, there's some Republican women that are very, very gorgeous. You see some of these Republican women. I mean, some of them are radio personalities and things out in different different areas and different states and things. But we got some pretty ass Republican women. I mean, people think some of the liberal women or the Democratic women were pretty. Some Republican women are very pretty too. I mean, I was thinking about maybe doing a post on that later on, but maybe a few days, maybe a week, who knows. But anyways, peace.